Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of PODTC. This is Jonathan Gates, President-elect of OTC this year. This PODTC episode is all about the annual conference coming up next month. And who better to join me than the queen of the conference herself, Amanda Means. How are you doing today, Amanda?
I'm great, Jonathan. Thanks. I like that title, Queen. It seems great.
Yeah, well, I'll make a name tag for you for that. You absolutely deserve it with all the work that you've been doing for this conference. You had planned our conference last year, and coming out of COVID and everything, there was a lot of anxiety about how it would go. And I think I've said this to you before, but that was one of the best OTC conferences I had ever attended in my time with OTC. So I was very happy to be a part of it, and we were very happy that you are planning, this conference as well this year. So
Yeah, last year did go great. I think everybody was really anxious to be back around folks and colleagues and see people they hadn't seen in a while. And even though it felt like a really condensed timeline, it really did come together beautifully. And I think everybody really enjoyed it.
yeah. So I think that there's going to be some similarities to last year and stuff, and we'll get into all of that. But the people want to know a little bit about Amanda Means first, the queen of the conference herself.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Behind
I
the curtain.
usually I usually start these episodes by asking my guests to tell me a little bit about where they work and stuff. I obviously know a bit about you. We've been on the executive board together for a few years, but for those who don't know you, like where do you work, maybe where you went to school, or anything else that you would like to share with the audience.
Absolutely. Again, guys, my name is Amanda Means. I currently serve as the Senior Regional Director for Enrollment Management for the Miami University regional campuses. So we've got regional campuses in Hamilton, Ohio, Middletown, Ohio, and then our VOA Center in Westchester. So I've been in this position a little bit over a year, my previous institution. And when I first got started with Ohio Transfer Council, I was working with Shawnee State University, and oh gosh, I felt like I was very, very new to transfer when I was there at SSU. And I thought to myself, what better way to get involved and get to know folks than to join OTC and then to join the board in some committee work. So that has worked out fantastic, and I've loved getting to know everyone. I did my undergraduate at Marshall University, and I started at admissions. So that's kind of where my love started, was in admission work. And then I've got a graduate degree from Bay Path University in enrollment management. So I've been in higher ed pretty much ever since before I even graduated, and I've absolutely loved it. But transfer work, I would say, is probably one of the things I think are the most interesting, and people are just absolutely super passionate about. So I really, really liked getting to know that. My work now at Miami University Regionals pulls me away a little bit more from the face-to-face with transfer students, but it's obviously still very, very important to the work that we do. And even though I'm not working directly with transfer students, I love working for a school that's dedicated to the transfer mission, and really excited to be here.
Yeah, I certainly see your gang out and about at the
Yeah.
transfer fairs and stuff, and it's they have the big banner that says Miami Regionals and stuff, and I always tell them that I know their boss, which makes
Yeah.
but I also didn't know you went to Bay Path, so that's
Yeah.
a fun anecdote for me to remember as well. These things are great because I learn more about people that, maybe we just didn't have the time to sit down and talk about stuff. So
Yeah, it was a great experience. The enrollment management and their higher ed administration, I absolutely loved it. I started it like 6 months into COVID, and I thought, what was I doing? And I'm so glad I did it. Absolutely. I really love the program.
yeah, very cool. So that kind of explains, obviously, you joined OTC when you were at Shawnee and stuff.
Mhm.
And then usually my next question revolves around like, how did you get started to work with transfer students? But obviously, like in your capacities, it seems that you've always kind of had a blend. So what led you to, because you reached out to us, I believe, to
Yeah.
get on the executive board. So what kind of led you to that decision?
Gosh, I think that with being involved in any type of organizations, there's always opportunity. And for me, it was a big opportunity to get to know other people doing transfer work. When I was working at Shawnee State and now here at Miami, I think other transfer folks too can probably identify with this, but I always felt like we were trying to do better and there were always opportunities. So it felt like a huge learning opportunity for me to find out what are other folks doing, what practices are working for them, what's not working. I think sometimes, unless you kind of know and work with other transfer people really closely, it's kind of hard to know what's going on with other areas. And, I don't think any of us are really in it on our own. So it's great to learn from other people that are doing great work, because it really is such an important mission to serve transfer students, especially in Ohio, and all of our folks that have some credit here hanging out that might want to finish up. So it's a kind of mission and altruistic, but also a part of my job. It was just a really important way to get to know the work better and the people doing the really great work.
Yeah, awesome. So about the work now, obviously we are together today to talk about the annual conference on Friday, June 2nd. I think that we'll kind of deep dive into certain aspects about the day as we keep talking, but could you give everyone kind of a brief overview of what to expect with this year's conference?
Absolutely. So we had, again, everyone had a great experience last year. So we've kept it at Columbus State because it's just a great place for us to meet and everybody comes together. But we did get some really good feedback about the schedule and maybe some of the sessions. Even though it was a condensed timeline, I don't think we had the opportunity to offer as much valuable proposals and sessions to folks. So that was one thing that we wanted to do this time. So our theme this year is Transfer in Ohio, focusing on successes and opportunities. So a lot of people are really doing amazing, great things already. And then just like I kind of said earlier, everybody's still looking for opportunities to take what they're doing and do better, to try new things, to tweak things, to make them a better return, or to be better at focusing on students and being student-centered. So that's what a lot of our sessions are about, successes that folks are having and how you might be able to kind of implement them with you. So it's really exciting. We're actually offering 12 sessions this time instead of just 9. So we'll still have 3 breakout sessions. And then at each breakout session, in addition to our updates from ODHE and OATN and our keynote, we'll have all of our folks from the transfer community presenting. So there'll be choices of 4 different sessions in each of our breakout sessions.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I know that we were talking about it, but it's really nice to have so many people willing to present their expertise on different subjects and such. And hopefully it gives us the ability to really give people like a well-rounded approach to the day. And there's so many different content areas that we work with transfer students. Like obviously you and I are in enrollment management, but even if you're an advisor or you work with financial aid, plenty of people work in and out of like registrars and credit posting. So we have a lot of awesome people in our organizations that do a lot of good work at one of our many Ohio institutions. So I'm glad to hear that we got, a lot of interest on presenting and that we were able to offer that.
Yeah.
So let's kind of start, I guess, like chronologically from the beginning.
Okay.
So the night before, generally we've offered, we call like a pre-conference networking event, something like that, a social. So are we doing that again this year? And if so, what's going on with that?
Absolutely. I think that the social may for our overnighters been one of their favorite things for the whole conference. It's always nice to let your hair down and visit with folks. And so many people hadn't really seen each other. It was just so nice to everyone to be around. But yeah, we're offering, again, the President's Social. That's kind of what we called it. Our past presidents and presidents work together to offer that. We'll be hosting that on Thursday, June 1st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And, people can kind of drop in as they want to, but we'll kick things off and have appetizers for folks starting at 6. And that'll be at the Hofbrauhaus. It's a Columbus brewery and restaurant.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun last year. I know that if you're on our Facebook page, I had posted not too long ago a photo of all of us from that social.
Yeah.
There had to be about 30 or 40 people in that photo alone.
Yeah, and that was not everybody. And it was a really great social too, because last year our keynote speaker, Michael Rosenberg, he wanted to attend and he was just so fun to chat with and talk with. Yeah. So that made it great. And I know we're going to talk about the keynote here in a minute too, probably, but our keynote speaker is going to join us again for the social. So it's a cool time to get some FaceTime with Heather Adams, who's going to be our keynote speaker.
Yeah, it should be a really good time. And for someone who also has a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hers a lot bigger than this one, but I'm more than excited to pick her brain about something. So that'll be cool that she'll be there, and that we'll all be there as well. And for anyone coming in the night before, I think that is a really great option. Even if you're a Columbus local who might not be staying like overnight in a hotel somewhere in the Columbus area because you're just going to come in the night before, please come to the social. You are more than welcome to come and hang out for a couple of hours and come and see everyone the night before in more of like a relaxed social setting. So
yeah.
Speaking of staying the night before, though, for those who are still looking for like hotel information, directions, is that all on the conference webpage?
It absolutely is. Our conference website, I mean, it's got everything that you need to know about the conference. If you still need to register, you can definitely take care of that, but we've got details about our keynote speaker, all the different links to the actual hotels. There's so many options in Columbus. This can kind of help you narrow it down, and then even parking and raffle information. So there's a lot of really great things, and it's the best resource to know what's going on for the event and planning your trip.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we have alluded to a couple of times, Dr. Heather Adams is going to be the keynote speaker this year. Could you tell us a little bit about her and how we landed on her as who we wanted to speak to our group this year?
Of course. Well, first I have to say, she has been absolutely amazing working with as planning this. She is so excited to be joining us. She did admit to me that she had not been to Ohio before. So as a part of some of the intensives and things that she does in her work with the Aspen Institute, she, of course, works with Ohio Institutes and does case studies and all kinds of things for them, but she's actually planning kind of an Ohio tour after she gets here for the conference. So she's so excited to be joining us. But yeah, Dr. Heather Adams, she's the Associate Director of Transfer Engagement for the Aspen Institute College Excellence Program. So of course, they are doing amazing best practices and helping evaluate things for a lot of different schools and help them improve their transfer work. But I think a lot of people may also know her, of course, from the Transfer Nation Facebook page. That's, of course, the first time I think I saw her name. And she's just really great and active. And I know, especially as a new transfer professional, that Facebook page was a really great way for me to get engaged with what other folks were doing, not just in Ohio, but across the nation. So cool events, cool programs, absolutely amazing things. But Heather is, again, just so much fun. So I'm so excited for her to be coming. And she really helped us develop what our theme is this year, Transfer in Ohio, Successes and Opportunities. And the reason that kind of got developed is that Heather was like, you know what, you guys are doing a lot of great work in Ohio. And again, I said this a couple of times, I always feel like we can do better. She was like, but compared to other states, there's a lot of great things going on, but of course there's great opportunities. So she's going to talk about some, national trends and how Ohio fits in there, and then give us some really great takeaways of how we can improve and what opportunities we can kind of build on. And I think that's great, not just for our keynote, but really a theme for the day of celebrating again, kind of our successes and hearing about the good work other schools are doing, and then looking for how you might be able to scale them up or down for your school, or have those key takeaways of things that you might want to implement. I know I always leave a conference with like a cheat sheet of, I'm going to try this, I'm going to talk to somebody about this, and I'm definitely going to do this one. So I'm hoping that's the same experience for a lot of our folks on that Friday, June 2nd.
Yeah. No, that's really great. I know that we had talked about Heather for a little bit, trying to get her in for the conference. So I was really happy when that all worked out. And she's an excellent speaker and very knowledgeable. And I think that a lot of us, we do very good work here in Ohio, but of course other states do great work as well. So it'll kind of be nice to see someone who has such a national perspective on transfer and kind of knows more or less like the regional approaches or the state approaches and who does what well, and maybe those things that we can improve on. Yeah. So I think that this will be a really great out of Ohio kind of learning experience for us as well. But of course, that even though she's never been to Ohio, I know that she's done plenty of research about the institutions that are here. So we can maybe learn some more about ourselves as well. So that's really great. It's a great perspective. And you're right. I'm the same way. I come back from a conference and I'm like, did you hear what these people are doing? This could be pretty easy to implement. And it seems to be, I got a guy, I know the person, now we can have a conversation about it. So I think that our group is tight knit to a certain degree. So a lot of us know each other already, but this will be a really great way for us to learn more from each other and learn from someone from out of the state. So we've covered a lot. I mean, for all the different breakout sessions that we're going to have our awards. Again, we'll know who's going to be joining the Ohio Transfer Council Executive Board. Again, we'll announce that, I know, on the day of the conference. But is there anything else that you would like to share with everyone about the conference and them getting ready for it? Maybe something that I forgot to ask about?
Yeah, sure. One thing that I guess more kind of housekeeping type things, but always great reminders, is that we're going to go with a digital agenda again. So you'll be able to scan and have that on your phone. But I really encourage folks, as we're trying to reduce kind of what we're doing with our paper, bring your name tag, bring your business cards, and share those out with folks while you're there. I know that there are a lot of teams that have changed and folks that have joined higher ed and left higher ed. So there'll probably be a lot of new faces too. So I really hope folks are open and willing to get to know some of those new folks, because like you said, it can be kind of a close-knit group, because a lot of people have been doing this work in the state for a long time, but we definitely are welcoming to our new folks that are just getting their feet wet in transfer, kind of like I was a few years ago. So I think that's a great note. And of course, I always like to remind folks that Dr. Paula Compton and her team are going to be joining us too and doing their OATN update with us first thing in the morning. So I always like to share that, because those are always good updates to get when you're here. And then in addition to the keynote and our update with Dr. Compton, there really are a lot of great sessions that are coming up this year. We have a lot of partners throughout the state, 2-year schools, 4-year schools, publics, privates, some of our other partners like College Force coming to talk to us about transferology. So there are a lot of great sessions for people to choose from. So I think it'll be a really, really great day. Really, really having a lot of options for folks when it comes to the different sessions. So it'll be pretty fantastic, I think.
Yeah. I thought of one quick question, I think, because there's a slight difference from last year, and maybe we should just speak it out into existence.
Yeah.
We are, instead of ending the conference at 3:30 like we did last year, we're going to end it at 3. Is that just you were feeling nice and wanted to give people a little bit of their weekend back, or what was the rationale behind that?
That is what our membership spoke. So we always do our survey at the end of our sessions. And I think a lot of folks on a Friday afternoon we're anxious, right, to get back home, especially if they've done an overnight trip. So we did move the business meeting, the election results, and a few different things. Those are going to be embedded into our lunchtime now. So instead of tacking that on to the end, we've got less time kind of in between our sessions, our business meeting during lunch. So we'll wrap up a little bit earlier, and there'll be less kind of downtime in between the sessions. So
great. Yeah, I like the concise, so when people, I know that for me, and I think you too, it's a couple hour drive back, once we're done, and I would like to get home at some points as well, but we'll probably be staying a little late. So that's probably not for you and I anyway, but
it is nice and compact though, Jonathan, even though it's like a one-day conference. There are 3-hour-long breakout sessions, an update from OATN, an update from OTC in our business meeting, and our keynote speaker. I mean, there's just really a lot of information and a lot of great stuff to be able to get out of one day in Columbus.
Yeah. So bring your caffeine, right?
That is right. Hey, we'll have the coffee in the morning. We'll have coffee and breakfast. We'll have sodas and water throughout the day, really delicious lunch, and keep you guys all happy and mingling and enjoying all the sessions.
Yeah, we give 2 meals at our conference, our one-day conference, which I feel like some conferences I go to, I'm on my own for lunch and stuff, which can kind of break up the day. We're pretty concise, and we bring the food to you. So
we sure do. And one thing I always like to do when I'm planning conferences is there'll be sodas and water throughout the day. So you don't have to try and find a pop machine in between sessions or anything like that. We'll have all of that there for folks. And it's really great how it's set up at Columbus State too. We're all on one floor. It's really convenient, and we're all right there together. So it
is very compact.
Yeah.
Yep. And then that makes it real easy if you guys need help throughout the day. And I think that we're going to probably announce this. Anyone in an OTC shirt is working that day, off of the executive board. So if you do need help with anything, just feel free to flag one of us down, because we're more than happy to help make the day as best as we can for you.
Yeah, look for those people in blue, the helpers.
Yeah, the blue. Yeah, or they're all different shirts, which that's newer than we used to all have the same polo, but we've had some we revamped and now we have options with that. So just look for the color. You'll find us. All right. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for coming on here and giving some information about the conference. This was meant to be the speediest episode of PodTC yet, so I think we have accomplished that, but we covered a lot. I appreciate you a lot. I'm looking forward to this conference, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, sounds great, Jonathan. Thanks so much. You're always so great to work with, and appreciate your help with the conference too.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to help. Thanks for joining in, everyone. We'll talk soon.